What? DC and Warner Brothers just canceled Batgirl, but it was already done. Well, that's extremely disappointing. Hmm. Guess I'm gonna have to go complain on the internet about it. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's actually funny because I haven't uploaded any content on this channel in months and months and months, and the reason for that is because me and my two best friends have actually started our own podcast called The Whackcast. We are still going strong, releasing content every 2 weeks now because every week got a little crazy for a while there. But we have just dedicated so much time and effort to this podcast. We are trying to pump out just nothing but great, successful content. We have everything from just simple discussions about movies and video games to game shows and trivias. And we've even got another new spinoff about to release here soon. Don't want to give the title of that here. You'd have to go to the Whackcast page here on YouTube to see that type of stuff, but I'm going to play some clips and stuff like that at the end. So if you're interested in basically just a big nerd podcast, you can check us out. Search the Whackcast 21. We're on YouTube. But of course, that's not why I summoned you all here today. So as you all probably may know already, DC and Warner Brothers have decided to ultimately cancel and pull the Batgirl movie. Now, it will not be releasing in theaters, nor will it be releasing on HBO Max, and honestly, I've got to be straightforward, that's just dirty. That's complete on DC's part, and they have hyped this movie up for years now and spent about $90 million producing this movie. Hundreds of crew members have been a part of this, and it just seems like now it's completely being thrown in the trash. A big reason for this decision actually comes from the merger of Warner Brothers and Discovery Plus. From the research I've been doing, it appears as though a guy, David Salads, I can't pronounce his last name, but he serves as the new head of the DC universe, and he's basically laying out a massive plan for the future of DC. And according to him, Batgirl no longer fits that plan. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the Batgirl movie, this was set to release sometime, I think, this year or the following year, and Leslie Grace would have been portraying Batgirl. We also had Brendan Fraser was going to be coming in to portray Garfield Lynns, aka Firefly. Michael Keaton was going to be back as Batman, and all of that has just been shunned. And it's really upsetting because Brendan Fraser took so long away from acting and was such a big part of a lot of our, childhoods and lives growing up. And it was very exciting to see him possibly get to play a DC villain like Firefly. And I think he would have honestly done that character a lot of justice. And it's just got to be super disappointing to have spent so much of your time and effort on this movie and then to have the rug pulled out from under you by some random dude who, in my opinion, now look, this is my opinion, has not really made any big dog moves for DC yet. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, more than likely. If I ever do have an active comment section, this is going to hurt people. But I think Matt Reeves' The Batman was probably the best DC movie they have released since Man of Steel. Now, that's not putting Man of Steel on such a high pedestal. that it's better than anything Marvel's ever done or anything like that. But Man of Steel reinvented the character in a way that a lot of people did not expect. You grew up, Superman's this brightly colored Boy Scout, and in Man of Steel it was dark, it was more emotional, it basically humanized Superman in the perfect way. And in my opinion, I think the Batman did that as well, just as Christian Bale rebuilt that character for the Dark Knight trilogy and brought us something massively successful and loved amongst fans. I truly believe Robert Pattinson is on his way to do the same thing. Now, yes, his Batman was a little dark, he was a little broody, but at the same time, he was young, he was unskilled. He doesn't have the fundamentals that make him the Batman that we know from the comic books. And I think within time, we're going to see more of that Batman play out. Now, like I said, what really sucks is the fact that Michael Keaton was actually returning to portray Batman again for this movie alongside his Flash movie debut, which at this point may never be released, let's be honest. Ezra Miller is just kind of ruining that for everybody. But him returning to the role, it would have been a big deal. With this movie supposedly releasing soon, it would have been a really good taste of what to expect when DC finally decides to release the Flash movie. And like I said, with this movie being canceled, it's really disheartening because this was a movie that was filmed and basically finished. There was very little left that had to be put into it, and it was ready for release. And you have things now like Blue Beetle. Of course, Black Adam is supposed to still come out. Lord only knows if that fits the vision of DC's future. That could hinder the Batman 2 if they just decide that carrying on an entirely separate storyline with Batman is just no longer acceptable, and they don't want to carry that path either. So I think it's really disheartening, like I said, because there are all these fantastic movies that now potentially could be in danger. The only flip side to everything going on is WB has officially released a statement on it and basically said that it had absolutely nothing to do with any of the actors or the test screening or the writing or anything like that, that it was simply a financial decision because dumping $90 million into a movie that is going to release on streaming platforms doesn't really guarantee you that same kind of income. But at the same time, then release it in theaters. Make your money back. I mean, even if you don't make a half of 90 million, it's still better than making absolutely nothing. You've already spent the money, you've already worked the crew, the visual effects, the actors, and you're basically just like, hey, sorry. I mean, everything that you've worked for is now gone, and I think that is a horrible, horrible move. But they did also say that luckily, Michael Keaton was only going to have a very small cameo in this movie and wouldn't really serve as this huge force to be reckoned with throughout the movie, so it would have mainly focused on a separate Barbara Gordon storyline. But the one thing that disappoints me the most is when all these set photos and stuff started getting released, they released a mural that they had painted for a wall in Gotham City that was Michael Keaton's Batman and just some random Robin. And that made me really excited because it's no secret Robin is one of my favorite DC characters. More specifically, Jason Todd and Dick Grayson are one of two of my favorite DC characters ever. And I was extremely excited to see a DCEU Robin because we haven't had a good real live action Robin probably ever, in my opinion. I mean, Burt Ward was Robin in the 60s, but he did what he did for his time, and that was that. But since then, we really have not had a successful Robin. Now, with saying that, Brendan Thwaites from Titans is a magnificent Nightwing, but his Robin was a little too edgy for me, and that's why I say we just don't have a good live-action Robin. But of course, I don't want to make a super long video that's just me ranting and shit talking WB for not dropping Batgirl. Um, I mean, it's just, as a DC fan, I hope that their overall grand scheme of things ends up being a lot more solid than what it looks like now. Like you say that these movies don't fit the current outline of DC, yet you're going to drop a musical with Lady Gaga, and that's Joker 2. You're gonna drop another Batman movie that openly takes place in a separate universe and admits that it takes place in a separate universe. Matt Reeves doesn't want this movie to be part of DC continuity, and that's fine. But it just begs the question. It's like, what are you people doing? What are you doing at Warner Brothers where you guys just cannot seem to get one linear film out? It's like everything you produce, you struggle to make it successful. Now, granted, like I said, Batman was great. I think the Suicide Squad was great. It was a massive update from the first Suicide Squad. I mean, I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry. I did heavily love Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I don't attack people for saying that they don't like it. I understand that you don't like a 4 hour movie with no finished, visual effects. I get that. I'm not going to hate you for it. But it does go to show that DC can make good things when they put the right people in the director's seat. And I mean, with this guy being a nobody, of course, Batgirl could have sucked. It could have been a massive flop, a giant waste of time, and could have gone virtually nowhere. But the disappointing thing about it is we will never know that unless some beautiful cape wielding vigilante decides to steal the movie and leak it online for all the good girls and boys to sit down and watch. We are not getting this movie. These characters are no longer a part of this story. It's gone. So if you're a Michael Keaton fan, I mean, this is a little upsetting. If they do ever release the Flash movie, of course, he'll be appearing in that, so we do have that, but they are already dancing around about when they're going to release The Flash, so definitely expect some more cancellations, some more shelving on Warner Brothers' end, but ultimately that's going to do it for this quick little video, so I am going to be back making full-scale content. I may not be dropping as frequently as I was before, but we are going to do a lot of different things here. We're going to, we're going to have videos like this. We're going to do some reviews. We're going to do some game reviews. We're going to do a little bit of everything. Originally, this channel was basically not really a horror film review channel, but that's what became of it eventually. So I wanted to kind of still stick with that because there are a lot of great horror review channels out here that I would love to one day have my name put up against. But I think we're going to do separate things. So there will be horror movie reviews and stuff like that. Then there'll be discussion videos like this, or rants, or crybaby sessions, whatever you want to call it. But we're just going to kind of do a little bit of everything. So I am going to be working on the Whackcast. It is a fantastic project. It is so much fun to do. We are about 30 episodes deep. 3 episodes of the Whack Show, which is our game show, and then we have our new show coming out in the next 2 weeks. So constantly making great content. Maybe I can get some of the guys on this channel one day to maybe talk about some favorite horror films or something like that, but I don't know. We're gonna see. So yeah, I'm Alex. This is Super Simple Reviews. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one. Peace. Nigel Uno. You got Hoagie Gilligan. Tommy was his little brother. Kooky Sanbon, Wallaby Beatles, and Abigail something. Because I can't remember her last name.
Too wrong. It is Hoagie.
Tommy was his little brother who was the
That was
vigilante.
the one I was struggling with, man.
Sorry, what'd you say? You said number 4 was what? And number 5 was what?
Wallaby Beetles, and number
Okay.
5 is just Abigail. I don't remember her last name.
Another thing that I thought was really cool that Netflix showed us was we kind of got a first look at the One Piece show that's coming out.
Yeah.
Which live action animes is rough.